Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
All right, let's do this. New Life Live starts right now. I'm your host, Brian Perez, taking calls in the studio for 2 hours today to discuss whatever it is that you're dealing with. Got some disappointments in your life? Yeah, life be lifin'. Got a cheater wreaking havoc? Well, cheaters be cheating. Got a prodigal family member? Prodigals be prodigaling. We can help you with all that and more when you call us today at 1-800-229-3000. We've got licensed marriage family therapist Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris here today. How you doing, Jacqui?
I'm doing well. How about you, Brian?
Doing well. And we've also got licensed professional clinical counselor and president of New Life Ministries, Becky Brown. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. Becky, pray tell, what is on your mind today?
You know, Brian, I've always got something on my mind. Hello, Jacqui. And hello, listeners. First of all, I want to say I've been married 41 and a half years. You know, when you're younger, you say I'm like 4.5 years old. I'm 41 and a half years into this marriage. And I can say it's nothing short of a miracle. My husband and I have a great relationship. It is not perfect. When you hear great, I don't want you to imagine rainbows and butterflies and, you know, all those things. But over these 41 years, when we got married at 21 and 22, I mean, who knows anything at that time? Don't take offense. But we jumped in with both feet, and we wanted the life that God wanted for us. And so we just went on the journey. But I wonder, because we hear so many calls here about marriage and struggles, and we just had a big public discussion about a couple that was outed. It was, you know, terrible and triggering for so many people. What is your plan for your marriage? And many of you are just miserably married. Some of you are, you know, kind of missing the marriage, like you live together, you're, you know, doing your schedules. But what is your plan for your marriage? And what would your spouse say about the plan? You know, you might have an idea, but what does your spouse think about it? When you're at your wedding or when you get your marriage, no matter how big or small the event is, you made some sort of plan. We're going to be at the courthouse. We're going to be at the church at such and such a time. So-and-so is going to be there. There was some planning that went into it, but so few people will plan for their marriage. And it's the most important relationship that you will have in your life. And it can be painful or it can be beautiful. You know, when you think about how life hits you, in those 41 years, we had 3 children, one who has disabilities. We've had critical illness. We have buried some of our parents. We had a house fire. We dealt with financial challenges, all the stuff, like you said, Brian, life be lifin'. And it's part of our journey together. But many couples will square off against each other when we need to find that way to unite and conquer. Well, you know why I'm saying all this, because tomorrow some of us on the staff are headed to Washington, D.C. because we're preparing for our Intimacy in Marriage Intensive. And I want to challenge you as a married person, if you have not done anything to invest in your marriage, this is an opportunity for you. And it can be life-changing. Now, I'm not overselling it either, because I've seen it. I've seen couples that have gone through it, and they've learned how to connect. They've learned to understand the sexual intimacy or the lack thereof. They've learned how to be encouragers of one another and of their family, and that they've seen how God wants to use their marriage for His purposes. Join me in Washington, D.C. this weekend. If you need a scholarship, we've got scholarship available. But I don't want you to miss out on planning to invest in your marriage. Perhaps you're not going this weekend. You need a counselor. We can connect you. But I really can't say enough about making a plan to have the best marriage that God has dreamed for you and your spouse. It makes all the difference in your life, in your family, in your community. Let's do this.
Yes, indeed. And we'll go right to the phones when we come back on New Life Live.
What a New Life course is it's around a topic led by a professional licensed counselor coach, with a small group of 8 or 9 people on a weekly Zoom call. You're going to go through the information, but also connect as a group. Those group processes make all the difference in the world. And so we have created New Life courses so that you can experience that on a weekly basis. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful. And it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us. So you can sign up right away with 8 or 9 slots open. They're going to go quick. And so you want to call today and get registered.
Begin your transformation in September with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
One of the first things people do every morning is check their email. Well, what if one of the first emails you saw up there at the top was from us? We've got a daily devotion that we send out each weekday morning. It's a great way to start your day. We had one earlier this week on controlling your emotions, which was just what Brian needed to start his day. Sign up for our daily devotion on the footer of our website, newlife.com. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call today and talk to Becky Brown and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, and we're going to Lewes, Delaware right now to talk to Lisa, who listens to us on WAVA. Hi, Lisa. How can we help you today?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
First time calling in.
Really? What took you so long to call?
Yeah, I don't know. Just, I guess, the guts do it, right? So basically, I'll try to sum it up as quick as I can. We've been married almost 37 years, so, long time. A lot of life lived in those 37 years. We have a child with significant disabilities. We've buried parents, just like you all just said a little bit ago. There have been hurt on both sides, me against my husband against me in those 30 years. There was infidelity on my part. And I was always the one that was afraid that it would happen, that he would be the one. But I'm the one that did that almost 6 years ago. That is completely, resolved, never happening again. There was a pornography addiction on his part for close to 20 years of our marriage that caused extreme hurt and mistrust. So he is a absolutely changed man. I became a very, very good detective, so I can stand here and tell you that is not happening again, and it probably is about close to 10 years since that happened. So that being said, lots of hurt, lots of reasons to not trust on both ends. But this is, things have changed in the last 5 years, and we're both working very hard. He, wonderful man, completely changed. Me, on the other hand, what my struggle is, and I am in counseling, but what my struggle is I am continuously looking for things to trip him up, like looking in his phone, we have absolute complete transparency now. For the past, 5 years. That was one of our agreements. But I find myself on this ongoing hamster wheel. If I can't find it, I just look harder. And sometimes technology and phones just don't make sense. Even mine doesn't. But it's just the more I don't find something, the harder I look. And, you look hard enough, you're going to find something doesn't make sense somehow. And then I get caught in this, spiraling rabbit hole, we call it. And then I bring it to him and we argue, and he's like, I just don't know. I didn't do this for some stupid setting or whatever it was. Right. They're little small things. I'm just caught in this hamster wheel. Is my best word for it. I just can't get off of it because I can't really find anything substantial because he betrayed me and I betrayed him. But he doesn't do that anymore, but I can't let go of searching for
Yeah.
a little piece of something to say,
Dr.
gotcha.
Jacqui, what would you say to
Lisa, thank you first for your vulnerability and your transparency. It sounds like you guys have been putting the radical acceptance, radical transparency, and radical forgiveness to work. So I just applaud you for that. I can't imagine how hard it's been. I've been married 37 years in September, so I know the journey. It is definitely faith walk, and there's a lot of recovery that needs to happen. And I think, and you said you're in therapy, you're in counseling, but you are still stuck in this detective mode. You mentioned, for sure he's not doing those things because you've become a good detective, but you become so good at it that it's starting to cause you more pain. You're stuck in this anxious pattern of looking for there to be something wrong. There's a book called How We Love that talks about different love styles and attachment styles. And as you were speaking, there's one of the love styles that came up for me that I was thinking about. It's a vacillator. A vacillator is someone whose attachment style is anxious and a little disorganized, kind of chaotic. It's a push-pull. I love you. I want you here. And also, you disappoint me. I'm so angry with you. Get away. And it sounds like that might be something that maybe happens inside of you sometimes, because the vacillator they have an ideal perfect, and when that's not happening, then they begin to devalue, and sometimes they set traps. They think, well, if they're being honest, this will happen, or I'm going to ask them to do this and see if they actually do it. I know they're not going to, but I'm going to do it anyway. And it's in the mind. They believe they're teaching them, or they're learning something, or they're learning something about that person, but what they're really doing is causing themselves extreme emotional pain, because it's stories that you're making up for yourself. So there's a part of you inside that can't allow you to relax into this relationship for fear that the bad thing will happen again. And so rather than allow you to relax in this relationship and just be in it and live happily ever after, it keeps you on guard, and so you won't be disappointed again. So you're just always ready for him to be wrong or bad. And what it's doing is it's taking away your joy. And I wonder if you could switch your thinking to, I'm not going to worry or care or think about any of those things unless they come up. Like, flip it to the opposite. But first you'd have to check inside with that part and get that part to give you some space and understand what is it inside of you that is still unhealed, that is afraid this will happen again, or afraid that you'll happen again, right? And so I would maybe bring this up to your therapist more, so that you can focus on, how do I rewrite this script in my brain so that I'm not looking for the bad, but I'm living in the reality of the good that we actually have right now.
And would you say that one way to flip that around is next time she picks up her husband's phone, she just flips it around, puts it down, and says, "Nope, not going to go there."
It is really just that simple as telling yourself in the moment you're about to do the thing, no, we're not doing that today. And then go for a walk, drink some ice water, ground yourself, because it's scratching an itch for you. And it's just become your latest addiction.
And that's exactly where I was going too. Lisa, you and your husband need to go to Intimacy and Marriage. We're right down the road from you. It's going to be this weekend. You both have done a lot of work. There is also a neural pathway that's been created in your searching. This is where that addiction comes from. The itch that Jacqui just referred to, this has been your routine, your rhythm. And there is that nervous, that anxious attachment where the two of you cannot really connect because of, when you've been together all these years. But here's the highlight though. You guys have already done so much good things. And I love all of that. And that's what's making you're like, why are we still doing this? Why am I still checking? It's become a process, but also this is also a trauma response to what you have been through. So and this happens to a lot of women who have experienced betrayal. And I know that you also, had acted out in your own marriage, but the trauma response of checking is a very natural, people will say, well, of course you would check. you don't want to be his security guard for the rest of your life. You want to have that
Right.
true connection. I hope that you will join us this weekend. And Brian, let's send her a copy of How We Love. And for both of you to share that with your counselor as well. I really can't say enough about, you guys have made such great progress. Let's keep moving forward.
Yep.
Lisa, what do you think about that? Do you think that your husband would be up for coming to Intimacy and Marriage this weekend? I know it's short notice, but it really is the answer.
Because I do think we would definitely love to come to it. We would need a little more planning because of our disabled child to get, support, care that quick. But I would definitely think that is something that we should attend, and we could plan for that, with the
Lisa,
support place for our child.
We're going to pray for a miracle.
Yes.
That someone would be able to step in, and I want the whole audience to pray for that, because I know what that's like. Our son has disabilities, and I know that is it's part of your journey. And so we're going to pray, Lisa, because we're going to be in the neighborhood, so we want to be able to have you guys be there.
Yes, and I really identified with the trauma response, because when I'm doing this checking, I get like before I do it, and I know it sounds like I'm like OCD or an addiction or something. I'm not. It's just, but it feels like that. I get sweaty hands, my heart beats fast.
Yep.
And so, Lisa, actually, you are. We think addiction is just to substances, but it's to processes as well. And gambling is a process. Shopping is a process. Eating is a process, right? And so this is a process addiction. You have gotten used to soothing yourself by doing this checking, but it's not working. Just like with drugs, people end up going, or porn or any of those things, we act out worse and worse and worse trying to get the relief.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Because like if I don't find something, then I'll put it down, and 5 minutes later I'm like, oh, we'll check here, and I'm like, it just doesn't get soothed as much as I need it to. It's like this endless hamster wheel. You will not, Lisa, you will not get the resolution that you think that you're going to get. This process, like Jacqui's saying, it's an automatic response that your brain is doing. It's not like you're cognitively saying, I want to really irritate myself by looking and searching and looking and searching. It's so subconscious. And she mentioned earlier about taking a breath, go outside. There are ways to disrupt it. 12-step programs will help with this as well. It's really about paying attention to what the precursors are and how to get that resolved before you start using the behavior of choice.
Lisa, thanks for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store. And we hope to see you at the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend Intensive happening starting Friday in Washington, D.C., not too far from you there in Delaware. And Becky, do you think Lisa would benefit from the anxiety webinar that we've got coming up in a few weeks?
Yes. What a great segue there, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Because when we understand why our brain is doing what it's doing, it gives us direction so that we can go forward. Like I was just referring to what you were talking about, Jacqui. Grounding is really a great way for us to pay attention, but so many of us live with anxiety and are unaware of the behavior that is being created because of it. Everything from irritability, that can be sourced in anxiety. Anger, obviously, can be sourced in anxiety, but we don't always pay attention to those kind of things. But yeah, we're going to have a 1-hour webinar, or 90-minute webinar, excuse me. Brian, you can give the details. And Dr. Alice Benton and I are going to, she's going to present. We're going to be able to take your questions, and you can join us wherever you are.
Yep, that's called From Chaos to Calm, and it's led by Dr. Alice Benton and Becky Brown. It's for anyone who wants to learn how to better manage the anxiety and stress that's part of everyday life. It's happening August 28th, so you've got plenty of time to put it on calendar. But if you've already made plans for August 28th, cancel them. Or postpone them at least. You can get more details on the Get Help tab at newlife.com. It's less than $20 for a 90-minute webinar that includes Q&A. You can't beat that. Sign up at newlife.com.
I think that's so
Yeah, it's
great.
cheaper than a counseling.
Yeah.
It is cheaper than a counseling session. Even if you're using insurance, it's cheaper than the copay probably. But you mentioned how sometimes anxiety, it's irritability. It's sometimes anger and rage is really anxiety, and we just think a person is bad or mean, or that you're just angry all the time. And so definitely check out the webinar. You can learn so much about ways that you can address that anxiety and start to live in peace.
For sure, August 28th, and we hope to see you there. It's an online webinar, so like Becky said, you can join from wherever you are. newlife.com is where to go to get the information and to sign up. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more of your questions. Got lots of calls on the board that we're going to get to, but we still have open lines, and we'd love to hear from you because we're going to be here for 2 hours today, and we would love to talk to you about whatever struggles you are facing. I'm Brian Perez here with Becky Brown and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, and we'll be back. 1-800-229-3000.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to the phones. Here is Bobby listening in Delray Beach, Florida on Sirius XM channel 131. Hi there, Bobby. Thanks for calling 1-800-229-3000.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to say you guys are a true blessing. I'm glad I kind of bumped into you guys, based on, I guess it was all, predestined for Christ. But my question is, it's just a brief question. I'm not married, although I have a problem with intimacy. So my thing is, with this relationship I have with the Father, I don't know how to accept love because I come from a broken childhood, a broken family. I don't have a father. I didn't have a father. I didn't grow up with a father, so I have no idea how to accept fatherly love based on a lot of. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, a lot of sexual abuse. Trust issues as a child, neglect, a few things, to say the least. I just don't, I don't know how to accept that love or how to conceive the type of love I'm supposed to embrace. I never had the human, the actual, our human, my father, as an example. So
Right.
I just, to get the connection of that is kind of hard for me. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can kind of.
Well, Bobby, that makes sense.
A little insight.
I want to just validate, though, that even if you had the human version of a father, you may still have this challenge. Because some of us grew up with a dad that wasn't safe, or a dad that was safe but fallible, right? And so none of us get that godly agape, just all in love from any human. So as much as some of us have had great fathers and loved them, they couldn't hold a candle to what it is that we get from God. And so I mentioned earlier about these three radicals: radical acceptance, radical transparency, and radical forgiveness. If you could start to maybe meditate on, think on those three things, because for me, that's what God's love represents. I am 100% accepted. God fully accepts you with all your flaws and faults and traumas and trauma responses and all the bad, all the good, all the ugly, all the beautiful. God fully accepts. That's the first thing, radical acceptance. And I say radical because it's beyond anything we can understand. So you can stop trying to wrap your head around it, because it's never going to make sense. No one loves like this. And then the second thing is radical transparency. God wants to show up authentically, be who you are. Unfortunately, a lot of us get a lot of noise from a lot of other places about who we should be, but be who God's creating you to be, and that answer is inside of you. And then the last part is radical forgiveness. God is forgiven, the ultimate forgiveness. And I carry those three things inside of me and try to generously offer that to others in other relationships, because that's how I experience God's love, through others in my life. And so I try to give those radicals, that's as close as I can come to sharing godly love. I'm going to radically accept you for who you are, which is going to mean that I'm going to have to forgive, because you're going to do some things I don't necessarily like, and that gives you room to be transparently who you are. And a good Christian counselor can help you walk through the steps of getting your life to a place where you can lean into being who you are and loving yourself, because God says to love Him with our heart, soul, and mind, but also to love others as we love ourselves. And that is where I think you will begin to really experience the love of God, is in you beginning to experience loving yourself, because you're created in His image.
Yeah. So, Bobby, I'm wondering, have you done any work on this at all? Like, have you been to a counselor group, anything like that?
No, currently I'm actually doing you guys life. I forget for last.
Take your life back.
Started, but it's
Take your life back.
Well, I guess, but we do the Zoom call, and there's a counselor that challenge life recovery, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that was going to be what I suggest, because Bobby, you have a thought process in your head. What is it supposed to be? What is it? What's the level? What does that look like? You just know that you don't have it now, but it almost seems unattainable because there's a picture in your head of what it's supposed to be. And so I love that you're in a group. I think that's a great way to start to experience relationship. And then there's practices like what Jacqui's talking about, but also getting the healing from the abuse, the trauma, just the life experiences that you've had. It's amazing because we're not always aware, just like you said, Jacqui, if you had an in-person father, you might have to have some work on overcoming who he was. So the work that you have to do in healing is going to draw you closer to God the Father, because you'll understand yourself better along the journey. I'm just really glad that you're asking these questions. And I hope that something that we've said has encouraged you. I think How We Love would be a great book to send, Bobby, because it talks about the history, about how we attach with people. And keep doing the group, because it'll make a difference.
All right, Bobby, thanks for calling in today. Stay on hold, and we'll send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store. Taking a quick break. More calls coming up at 1-800-229-3000.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Licensed marriage and family therapist Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris is here in the studio to answer your questions. We've also got Becky Brown, who is not only a licensed professional clinical counselor, but she's also the president of New Life Ministries, and she can tell us firsthand what our monthly support of New Life allows us to do. Take it away, Becky.
It really is amazing to see God work through the generous hearts of so many people who believe in hope, because that's basically what we're doing here is we're offering a pathway for people to get hope and healing for their lives. And so your giving makes it possible. And I know you hear the commercials that we have that talk about how New Life impacted their life, and so they felt compelled. They felt like they needed to give back so that others could experience that. And I just want to encourage you today. If you've been listening for a long time, you may have an idea in your head, I have to give, $1 gazillion. Now listen, if you give $1 gazillion, we will take it and use it appropriately and change the lives of millions of people. But I want to suggest, what is the way that you're expressing your gratitude for how New Life has helped you in your life? And you can join our monthly recurring giving and just know I'm giving back, and it's making a difference in the lives of so many people. We have so many testimonies of people who have been impacted not only by the radio program, because people listen and they hear it, but also by the intensives, the online courses, our website. I mean, there's just so many ways that we're able to help people. Your giving makes a difference. If the Lord is speaking to you now to give, please obey. And we will give you lots of different ways to give. Right, Brian?
Yes, indeed. You can go to newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can also text CNL, as in Club New Life, to 28950. And one of the ways that we thank our Club New Life members is through a quarterly time of connection through Zoom. The next one is coming up on August 6th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Stacy Sadler-Smith will be joining us to speak on Beauty from Brokenness, How God Redeems Pain into Purpose. And if you join Club New Life today, you can be with us on that Zoom call on the 6th. Visit newlife.com/CNL for all the details. Sylvia in Los Angeles, you are next. Thank you for listening on Sirius XM Channel 131. How can we help you today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you people a lot.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you listening and calling in.
Oh, thanks. I've been listening for quite a while. I don't call in very much, but when I do, I really have something that's big.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I've been married for 13 years. I lived with a man for 5 years before we got married. I've noticed over the years, I didn't notice at first because I didn't recognize it because I'd never experienced it, that I'm living with a narcissist.
Okay.
And I don't want to play into that, but it's like, what do I say to this? So do I answer that, or do I let that button be pushed, or does that have to be another broken button? I'm having a real difficult time.
Okay. Dr. Jacqui?
Sylvia? Sylvia, have you done any therapy for yourself?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For myself, yes. And that's part of what kind of really aggravates me, when somebody can't take the blame themselves, even though it is them. And because I've been working on me and became the person that I can actually listen to God on a momentary basis and let the Holy Spirit take over. Except now with this.
Yeah. Well, I think two things. One, intimacy in marriage is happening this weekend, and that would be great for the two of you. Would he come with you to a couples weekend?
We're kind of limited in what kind of traveling we can do. We have a horse ranch and animals, and we can't leave.
You can't go that far away for right now. Okay. So what about couples therapy? Because I think what you're saying is you're married to a narcissist. You're realizing that your husband has some tendencies that make relationship difficult for you. You're doing your work, but it doesn't sound like he's doing his. My recommendation would be reading How We Love and starting to do that work with a couples counselor, because it's challenging to do life with a narcissist, but not impossible.
Becky,
well,
what would you say?
I agree with you. Well, I agree with you, Jacqui, because here's the thing, Sylvia, you're frustrated right now because you want it to be better. That's a great intention that you have. But we always talk about on the show, we talk about somebody, if they're not really diagnosed as a narcissist, we got to be real careful, because we can put all our eggs in that basket and not really see what is underneath the behavior. Just learning about his past and all that. But Jacqui just suggested, and I agree with her, you have to do this in couples counseling. I mean, Sylvia, do you want this marriage to last if it's better? Like, you guys got married at some point. You must have liked him, right?
Yeah, we liked each other even.
Yeah.
And,
would you say that there is good in your relationship? Is there good in your marriage?
Of course, as long as we don't talk feelings. And as long as we don't talk tasks.
Okay. Those are definitely things. I agree. Therapy. Couples therapy.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying that, Sylvia, is because you're doing your work. You're really leaning in. He may be scared. This is going back to our conversation about anxiety. Sometimes that kind of response from him is actually an anxious core, because he doesn't know feelings. He doesn't know how to talk that way, or he's threatened by any kind of thing that he thinks, that he perceives is something wrong with him. Now, what we do know about narcissism is that it is based in a core wound within a person. And that wound can be so vast. They need, an audience. They need constant affirmation. They're very attractive in the initial stages. That's why I wondered if, when you guys first got together, Sylvia, it must have been fun and exciting. And then all of a sudden life is, not working, like you're not being able to share life together, and you're not feeling like you are being seen, heard, or understood. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes, it is
I would. Okay. So what we'll do, we're going to send you How We Love. We're on a roll today with that book, but I also want you to be able to invite him into counseling with you. You can tell him this way. We tell people this all the time. Honey, I want you to come with me to counseling because you need to tell the counselor what's wrong with me. Now, I know that sounds offensive, but it is the sure way that they'll go, oh, I'm coming.
Sounds like reverse psychology, Becky Brown. Is that what you're doing there?
Well, kind of. Yeah, it is kind of. And Jacqui is my witness. It works because the client that feels like they're at fault, especially in a marriage, wants their time in court, so to speak. And so they get threatened when the spouse goes to counseling and then comes back and says, you need to do this and you need to do that. So what you want is you want to invite that spouse into the process with you. Healing occurs in relationship. And so if you want a better marriage, you're going to have to do that work together. And I know it can be threatening and all of that kind of stuff, but I tell you, we see it all the time. You just invite people into a healing process. So I hope that helps, Sylvia.
And Becky, I'm glad you said that healing happens in relationship. And I asked the question, Sylvia, if there's good in your relationship, because sometimes we're in a good relationship and it's such a right fit that these things start to happen that bring up old things that we can heal, and that this relationship is the place to do that work and to get that healing. I think your marriage is the best place to heal some of the childhood wounds because no one else brings those things out in you. Your reactions to his lack of emotionality or over emotionality or whatever it is, your reactions to his not keeping up with tasks, or maybe you feel like he's gaslighting you or not being honest, your reactions to that have something to do with healing for you, as well as his behavior has something to do with healing for him. And so I definitely would encourage you guys to get couples therapy. And if you guys are kind of locked into the ranch, you can do it virtually.
So thank you for calling in today, Sylvia. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love, which is probably trending #1 on X right now because of how many times we've mentioned it today. Such a good book. You can find it on the newlife.com store. And we really do hope you can attend the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend Intensive. If not this weekend, then on a future week. We understand your situation at home, but we do them a few times a year, and you can get all the details at newlife.com/IIM. Phone lines open, 1-800-229-3000. What's on your mind today? Unequally yoked relationships or terminal illnesses? We would love to talk about it. 1-800-229-3000. We will wait for your phone call.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
A quick reminder to check out the Get Help tab at newlife.com for all the details on our 3 new New Life online courses that start in September, as well as the August 28th From Chaos to Calm Anxiety webinar. Again, that's at newlife.com under Get Help. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today, and we're going to be in the studio for another hour after this one's done. Let's talk to Alan in Atlanta, Georgia, who's a first-time listener, it says here. Hi there, Alan. How did you find out about New Life Live?
I found it just haphazardly on the radio. While driving, yeah.
All right. So how can we help you today?
Yeah, we probably got another book in order and another situation where we need counseling. I've got a son and his girlfriend. They got a baby. Yeah, one is a Muslim, one is a Christian. And when they got together, I told them, said, y'all need to go to counseling. But they went on ahead and did their thing, and they battling and carrying on. I had to put them out the house. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to deal with this. I try to get he went to his pastor, and the pastor just gave him advice to just love her. I wouldn't have never done that. I would have told him at least what he's dealing with, at least a small, idea of what he's dealing with. And then from there, go from there. But, I think you got 2 spirits. You got the Bible and you got the Quran. So I don't know if any one of them going to bear witness with each other's spirits. So far, it's been a mess.
So, Alan, I want to just jump in. The concern is probably the 2 of them relationally as much as it is spiritually, and whatever differences there might be there. So I can see why the pastor told him to just love her, because that ultimately is what we're called to do, regardless of whether she's reading the Quran or the Old Testament of the Christian Bible. The problem is these 2 people and how they show up in relationship. So you're right. I am going to say they should read How We Love, and they should come to intimacy in marriage. And so encouraging the 2 of them to come. We have premarital couples that do come, couples that are engaged, come and figure out what is going wrong in this relationship. And sometimes people need to hear, as you said, like what really they should be expecting. But I would take that from who this woman is and what her history is and what her challenges is, more so than focusing on her choice of religion, because that is actually quite secondary to how she has been raised, any traumas she has experienced, previous relationships she's had, if she had siblings. There's so much more involved in how we show up in relationship than what our religious belief system is. And so I would absolutely encourage him, love her well. She's the mother of your child, but get some help. Get into Christian counseling. And if she's opposed to Christian counseling, then you guys negotiate on that and figure out what is the best therapy for the two of them, but they need to be in therapy, learning how to be a family and how to stop hurting each other.
How old is the baby?
You know,
Well, got 1 year, and then he jumped up and got another baby, even though they're battling. And so another baby is coming. So,
Okay.
but
So,
you're right.
Alan-
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Both of them have been slopped up as far as family is concerned and family relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Becky?
And our problems in our marriages, our intimate relationships, they don't begin really in the relationship. They begin in our childhood.
That's right. I believe that's right.
Becky?
I
Do you
really do
know
believe that.
what, Alan? When you first asked the question, my first reaction was it wouldn't matter if they were pink and blue, or if they. I mean, like, it doesn't matter if she's Muslim, Christian. I know everybody's going to be like freaking out that I'm saying that, but it's what Jacqui is talking about. Marriage is complex because you have two humans who are coming together, and you just said that they both have histories that are challenged, right? Like, you know that much
Yes,
about
right.
them. And so what happens is when they come together, that pain that they're bringing from the past, I mean, if it got so bad that you had to put them out, that tells me the level of chaos that is going on between the two of them. And then you add a couple of children in there. I mean, we need to support them in any way. So, Alan, here's what I would suggest to you. Are you close to him at all? Like, do you talk to him weekly, or, how do you talk to him?
Well, talk to him very carefully because this boy here, my son, he hardly listens to anybody.
Right.
And I told him, his mother and my wife, she passed away about 13 years ago, and so I was telling him, that I just don't like the way he lives. He's sad to say, there's one girl he was going with. I really loved that girl. She was a straight A student, and she went ahead and she committed suicide over his sorry ass. I hate it so bad, and but he's just got a long streak of stuff going on,
Right. So, Alan, here's your homework. Okay, we're going to send you the book, and I would love for you to read it, but then pass it on to them. But here's what I want to assign you to. I want you to love him. Yes, he doesn't listen to you, but I want you to start to, I don't care if it's a text a week or if it's a phone, I really prefer a phone call a week, or maybe take him to lunch, or just, I want you to build a routine of connecting with your son. I want you to speak life into him, not from you don't need to be married to her, or all of the stuff that you probably have been talking to him about. You see the pain. You also know what it's like to have a good marriage and the loss that he's experienced. But step by step, I don't want you to solve anything for him. I just want you to love him. And the most powerful thing that you're going to do is download into him what it's like to follow the Lord, but not in okay, here's the rules and you got to follow the rules. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be able to give him space so that you recognize that there is a connection between the two of you. It will go so far for them. And we'll all be praying for this family because, they're going to need that.
Yeah.
So, Alan, thank you so much for calling in from Atlanta, Georgia, and we're so glad that you haphazardly fell upon our program today. These things happen, whether you call it haphazard or coincidence. I don't know. I think it's
or the Lord.
Or the Lord.
Give it credit to the Lord.
Give him credit.
That's definitely it. Okay, so we're going to stay in the studio for another hour. We've got lots of calls on the board. Don't hang up if you're on hold right now, because we do want to talk to you. We're going to reset, and then we're going to take your calls. We're going to keep the phone lines open at 1-800-229-3000. And Alan, I don't remember. Oh, yeah.
I want to say one more thing. So, this morning we were in devotions as a team, and we were talking about Lamentations 3:22 through 24. The mercies of the Lord are new every morning. And so even though we've talked to a lot of people today who've had really difficult pasts, But isn't it incredible that we serve a God who gives us another chance? And this is your chance. So if you listen to any of the calls today and you're thinking, well, that's my life. I recognize me. Today's the day to make a new start, and we can help you do it.
Yes, we can. Antoine, Melissa, Lily Mae, everyone else on hold, and everyone else who calls in, we will talk to you in just a little bit here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for praying for us and for praying for our listeners. Keep each other in your prayers. We'll be back on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.